Welcome to the Jeff Vicario Show on SLE Radio once more. Oh, thank you for tuning in and listening to this. I think this is the 6th show that I've done so far, and it's been going great. The response has been beyond anything I could have dreamed, so it's clearly a match made in hell or north of there. This thing that I have ended up doing out of nowhere. Clearly, I am having a whale of a time doing this, and if there's at least like one listener per show who's enjoying themselves, then that's reason enough for me to keep going. So look for some great tunes and some chat once again on the Jeff Vicario Show. Let's kick this off with some important business regarding the SLE community. First of all, a reminder that SLE's Kickstarter campaign is still going. It will be going until early July, so head over to Kickstarter and join the community, become one of us. There's also on the SLEradio.com website, there's still a chance to enter into SLE Music Awards 2020. Submit your music, maybe you win a prize. Who knows? Troy from Limbocast has already nominated me as the ugliest face of 2020, so I'm looking forward to winning that one hands down. Also, stay tuned always on SLEradio.com for some awesome shows from the likes of Grunge Norris and Jay, who have got a Sunday service every Sunday. Limbocast with Joey and Troy follow right after this one today on Tuesday. Viper Drive presents Club Electric every Friday. And be on the lookout for Drinking with the Devil, who will be bringing his demonic hour to SLE Radio sooner than you might even think possible. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get on to the music. The first artist that we're going to listen to is somebody that I heard on my music streaming service of choice the other day, and I thought, well, this is some kind of amazing. I reached out to them and said, would you like to be played on this show that I'm doing? And they were kind enough to let me have their song, and I'm going to be playing it for you right now. The song is called Falling, and it is by an Atlanta-based synth-pop duo called Frisky Monkey. This is a great song. Let's have a listen to it right now on the Jeff Vicario Show on SLE Radio.
Touch and your embrace. Lying beside you, it'll never end. 'Cause every time I see your face, I guess I'm not over you. And I feel your touch in your embrace. I guess I'm not over you. But I know this time it's gonna last. Falling in love again. Falling in love again. I guess I'm not over you. I guess I'm not over you. I guess I'm not over you. If our love is gonna last, I guess I'm not over you. This time love will erase the past. I guess I'm not over you. 'Cause every time I see your face, I guess I'm not over you. And I feel your touch in your embrace. I guess I'm not over you. But I know this time it's gonna last. Falling in love again. Falling in love again. I guess I'm not over you. Falling in love again. I guess I'm not over you. Guess I'm not over you. I guess I'm not over you. I guess I'm not over you. Guess I'm not over you. Guess I'm not over you. I guess I'm not over you. Guess I'm not over you.
That was Frisky Monkey with Falling, a song about love. And you can just tell that romance is not gonna end well. What a great song. Just loving that slightly sort of new wave-ish early 80s vibe on the vocals. A bit goth, a bit dramatic, moody, masterful, really well. The vocals really make that song. I mean, I love everything about it pretty much. I mean, the pacing, everything. I always say these same things about these songs. God damn it, I gotta learn some new patter. Anyway, that was a great song. Let's start off with that. And yeah, the vocals really make it. Let me reiterate that. They're just kind of, I don't know, perfect for that style of song. I love the production, the slightly sort of almost like an 80s, like a drum machine's sound on the beat, slightly a bit of lo-fi, pops in the mix just perfectly, and the synths, the overall vibe of it, everything. That was Frisky Monkey from Atlanta, a duo comprising of Juan Cesar and Douglas Pettis, hopefully. The pronunciation didn't go that badly. I love that song, guys. Thank you for letting me play it on this show. That was a great discovery. Sometimes these streaming services do my job for me, and I don't even have to look for great music. It just sort of enters, and then I just get to play it. They describe themselves as a band with swirling synths, moody guitars, and entrancing vocals. An apt description, if ever there was one. Thank you. That was, again, Frisky Monkey with Falling. Go follow them on Twitter and find them all over the place or at your streaming services of choice. This is the Jeff Vicario Show on SLE Radio. Next up, we have an old friend and favorite from a previous episode. I couldn't resist dropping a song from her into this show because why not? I just got an advance copy of her record, and as I'm recording this a couple of weeks ahead of schedule, this album will have been out for a number of days or weeks by the time you listen to this, but for me this is actually a first listen. I took a chance and just picked a song from the album, and of course the artist that I'm talking about is Polike. Mad Madam M is back with a new release, and we're gonna be listening to a song from it now, which is called The Real Plot. And the album, by the way, is called Soteria. And this is a song called The Real Plot, and it features iMouth. Let's have a listen to it and then come back to the chat side of the show.
Was shining. The film looks good, but the real plot is happening between the frames. Everything looks good, but the real world is not the shadows dancing, it's not the shadow play on the wall.
Holy something or other. Pick your deity. Can I just pause the show and listen to that again, because that was, simply put, the most amazing piece of music I've heard this year, probably. That was Plike featuring iMouth, and the song was called The Real Plot. I can't think of a proper superlative to use here. I'll just say that was magnificent. I've heard some amazing things from Plike before. She is clearly one of my favorite artists of all time, but that was a whole other level of awesomeness. And let's just dispense with the fact that iMouth, this group from Gothenburg, Sweden, or Göteborg, som vi kanske borde säga om man ville prata svenska. But however, let's just stick to English. I'm a bit confused here. I must admit. I mean, I was, like I said, or did I say? No, I was expecting greatness, but that was even far beyond anything I could have envisioned. I'm speechless, I think. I would just recommend that everybody goes over to wherever that music is available, on Bandcamp, Spotify, anywhere. Acquire it now, because that was, simply put, an amazing piece of music from Plike and iMouth. Yes. Oh, that's the review. That's the review. Incoherent babble for about 2 minutes about a song. Yeah, I loved it. I seriously loved it. I want to thank him for making that song available to me so that I could play it. Yeah, so that record actually came out like a week ago. By the time you're listening to this, I think the official release date is the 15th of June. So you will have heard it. If you hadn't, and that was the first time, then go get the album and listen to it all the way through, because it has to be great, because I just took that song from it at random and it was awesome. The actual album features collaborations with the likes of Yellow Belly and others, so it's gonna be amazing. This is the Jeff Vicario Show, the Incoherent Babble edition on sleradio.com. The next artist that we're gonna listen to is called Death Cruiser. That is Death Cruiser from New York, from the States. He describes himself as a painter who just replaced his paints with sounds on silence between analog warmth and electronic cold. Well, that is a nice description of his music. I was kind of at a loss with regard to what to play from him, because his discography is quite daunting. You start going through it and it's like, well, what am I going to pick here, to do his albums and EPs justice? You'd have to play the whole thing, all the way through. But because this is a show where I tend to stick to a single song from an artist, sometimes two, I had to pick one, and this is what we're going to be listening to now. This is a song called, it's from an album called Infinity and Beyond, and the song is called Through Invisible Borders. This is a firm favorite of mine, and I think you're going to enjoy it as well. So yes, this is Death Cruiser with Through Invisible Borders on the Jeff Vicario Show on SLE Radio. That was Death Cruiser with Through Invisible Borders. I love that song. The central theme is so damn catchy and insistent, and everything that happens around it is just beautiful. The soundscape is so rich. It has so much depth, which is fitting. I mean, I don't mean death as in, dying, That's like, a different genre altogether. I mean depth. Kind of like being submerged in a vast ocean of sound or something. It's so beautiful. So sort of... and this is another song where words kind of fail me. And it's like, well, why do I even bother trying to describe in words something that's beyond description? It is. Well, it was sort of weird, not weirdly hypnotic, but hypnotic in a good sense. I'm sitting here swaying from side to side and just enjoying it. Really, it's the whole the name of the artist, Death Cruiser. It's so sort of evocative of something like I don't know. It's so visual too. I'm not an incredibly visual person, but this time around I would just sort of close my eyes and see pictures. I can't describe what they were like, but it was very enjoyable, beautiful, gorgeous. It's great music from Death Cruiser. That's all I can and will say for now. Do find him on Bandcamp and Spotify and elsewhere and listen to his music. It's well worth all of the time and resources that you are willing to spend on it. By the way, if you want your music to be played on this show, you can send it to me at jeffvicarioshow@gmail.com along with a couple of lines of introductory bio. You can also submit your music to the station at sleradio.com. You will find very detailed instructions there as well. But if you want to be played on my show, please for now submit via my email, because right now we're not at a stage yet where the submissions that go through the website come directly at me. So I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but that's how it's gotta be for now. This is the Jeff Vicario Show on SLE Radio, the place where indie music rules the roost. Okay, let's rock it up a little. Let's get some guitars and drums and some hard-driving music on the show now. The next artist that we're going to listen to is from Austin, Texas, via London, UK. They're called the Metal Birds, and they got in touch with me a while ago, and again, due to the mess that is my inbox, I didn't get around to playing their music until now, but they are here now. This is the Metal Birds, and the song is called Dark Highway.
Distant horizon, I'll make my way down this dark highway.
That was the Metal Birds out of Austin, Texas, via London, UK, and that song was called Dark Highway. Great driving rock music there with the crystal clear, pitch perfect vocals from Suzanne Birdie, the front woman of that band. Great music, great rock and roll. Highly recommended for those fast late night drives on dark highways, I guess. That was a bad pun. I love that song. It's, always great to hear music where the guitar work is so detailed and well thought out, and there's all kinds of interesting things going on, even underneath the vocals, rather than just like having power chords going all the time. Like the little sort of high-end guitar parts during the pre-chorus, for instance, that was a nice little detail. And whenever there's a harmony guitar solo, I'm basically sold. It was a great song. Special props to the rhythm section. The drummer, who deservedly has won awards for his work, does a great job in keeping things going, and the bassist is just locked in. Everything works, everything drives like a maniac. Great song. On the Jeff Vicario Show on SLE Radio. By the way, I'm recording this on a very, very beautiful June. What is this time? Before noon. This is me after too many cups of coffee going off the deep end. Just me and my microphone looking at the clear blue skies in Tampere, Finland right now. By the way, the station that you're listening to is SLE Radio. You can find us at sleradio.com on Facebook and on YouTube. Do support us. We have a Kickstarter campaign going on right now. If you want to contribute and become a member of the community that way too, go over and check it out. Other interesting things on the SLE Radio website. SLE Music Awards 2020. You can submit your music there for consideration, and also you can find information about other shows on our awesome channel from the likes of Limbocast, Club Electric with Viper Drive, and Sunday Service with Grunge Norris and Jay also along for the ride. Let's move on. Now, as probably has become apparent to everyone, anyone who's listened to this show for more than 10 minutes over the last 5-6 episodes, you can, get your music played on the show by submitting it to me via email at jeffvicarioshow@gmail.com. But occasionally I also approach artists who may or may not have heard of our station or me, whether they'd be interested in having their show music featured on the show. And I am not ashamed to admit that this next artist that we're going to listen to was one of those that I desperately wanted to play. So I got in touch with them, and they graciously agreed. The artist is called Burial Grid. Now, I fell in love with them even before I heard the music, because I thought that artist name is just genius. Burial Grid. What the hell does it mean? I don't know. Does it matter? No. It's still great, and when I heard the music, I was like, okay, of course I like this. This makes perfect sense. Burial Grid have released an album this year. Let me see if I can find out what the name of the album was. I have forgotten it, but I will check it while we listen to the music. I couldn't decide, honestly, on which song to play from the album. I felt like this latest record is one of those that you have to just listen to all the way through when you start. It's pretty much impossible to pick a single song. Oh, there's a noise in the background. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. So I decided to play 2 songs. These are the first songs on the record, because they kind of set the tone, and they are just, well, they're great music, obviously, but they will just suck you in, and then you just want to keep listening. The songs are called Like Veins or Vines, which is immediately followed by a song called The Woman Buried Beneath the Candle. This is Burial Grid. two songs from their most recent album, which was obviously called A Negative Space. I should have remembered that, but I didn't, so I had to check it out during playback. Now, artist is so good. The songs were called, by the way, like Veins or Vines, and The Woman Buried Beneath the Candle. Now, originally I only wanted to play the second song of those two, but it felt wrong somehow to only play The Woman Buried Beneath the Candle. It didn't sound right without like Veins or Vines preceding it, so I had to play two songs. Jeff Vicario Show, full of surprises on sleradio.com. Anyway, that song and those two songs, that band, that artist, their music is so good. Well, I say that about everybody I play, but then I get to pick the song, so obviously I'm not going to play music that isn't great, which is not to suggest that I've ever really been sent bad music. Indie artists, you are great. Keep sending me stuff. Jeff Vicario Show at gmail.com. Getting back to Burial Grid. The man behind Burial Grid is called Adam Michael Kozak out of Northampton, Massachusetts. That song is so difficult to pronounce. Massachusetts. Now I get it why some people just say Mass. Okay, anyway, Burial Grid are great. Negative Space is easily in my top 3 albums of 2020. I've listened to it quite a few times already. It's just one of those perfect soundtracks to whatever mood I happen to be in. The artist is inspired by, let me check his Spotify bio. I'm just gonna read straight from it. Yeah, he wants to explore his love of 70s and 80s synthesized horror film scores. No vocals allowed. Well, that's something. What am I talking about? I don't know. Don't mind me, I'm just here because I love doing this. And, you can just skip the babble and go straight to the music, if you like. Burial Grid, great music. Thank you for letting me play it on my show. Those two songs were from an album called A Negative Space. It was released this past March. Still available everywhere. Go listen to it now. The next artist that we're going to be listening to is called The Joker Project. Indeed, a project by Eden's End main man, Jack Goodwin, who, by the way, is an all-around awesome human being, who's done more than, most people combined for the indie music community, both on the social media side of it and in real life. I respect and admire him greatly, so it's pretty much a no-brainer that I'm going to be playing his music on this show as well. You will be hearing Eden's End on a forthcoming episode, but I decided to kick things off with a Joker Project a song which is called Calm Before the Storm. Now, I got to have my pick from a couple of songs that they sent me, Jack sent me, and this was by far my favorite. And so we're going to be listening to it right now. The Joker Project with Calm Before the Storm.
Take shelter. Time to kill.
The Joker project there with Calm Before the Storm. Now that is actually not their latest song, that's from last year, but I adore it. It's my favorite The Joker project song, so that's obviously why I chose to play it instead of any of the other equally deserving candidates. No one sounds quite like Jack. Those vocals they're amazing. On the whole, the song is so well constructed, so well put together. It finds a pocket right off the bat and stays there. And the fact that the writer and the way they put that song together, the way it was recorded, the arrangement, the instrumentation, everything, that they just resist the temptation to overplay, to stuff it full of other stuff, and just let each instrument ring through. The vocals have that clarity and feeling, depth of emotion there that you can just immediately grasp it. I don't even know how long that song is. It's one of those things where you listen to it, and it's for however long it goes on, you just along for the ride and you enjoy it. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. You are free to correct me if I'm wrong, but that might be Jeremiah Booth on the bass. I could be wrong. I do know that he was somehow involved in some of the recordings for the Joker project. My apologies if I misremembered. Some people are just incredible songwriters. They have that sort of effortless thing, something that sounds effortless. I mean, who am I to say how difficult it is for Jack Goodwin to write stuff like that? But it comes across as like, hey, I just threw this together because I'm so good. That's the feeling I get, mixed with not a little bit of envy at somebody being so talented. But he deserves all of the good things that life has on offer to him. I'm a great supporter of everything that he does, and I, look forward to hearing even more music from him in the future. And like I said, you're gonna be hearing it on in this show as well. Special mention of the lyrics. I did actually pay attention this time. I listened to them, and the wordplay there is great. perfectly fits the mood of the song, the overall proceedings, and so on, and so on, and so on. Words, 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 forming sentences, melding into paragraphs, and I don't know what I'm talking about. This is the Jeff Vicario show, so you should have expected that from the beginning. On SLE Radio. Next, on the Jeff Vicario show, we have a band from the south of Spain. They're called TOM, The Organized Misuse. And they describe themselves as a funny mix of influences and a powerful show. However, this is the lighter side and somehow darker side of TOM, The Organized Misuse. This is an unplugged version of their song, which is called Dark Zone. I believe this was played on a recent Radio TFSC unplugged show, along with the likes of Clara Estelle and even myself. And this is a really, really cool take on said piece of music, and we're going to be listening to it right now.
You're calling me inside. I'm walking into that light. You fade my dream away. The colors are turning gray. Yeah, my heart is in the dark zone. My heart is in the black zone. My heart is in the dead zone. You're looking into deep, no way to find that sleep. My dreams do fade to black. Unconsciousness is coming back. Yeah, my heart is in the dark zone. My heart is in the black zone. My heart is in the dead zone. My heart is in the dark zone. My heart is in the black zone.
My heart is in the dead zone.
My heart is in the dark zone. My heart is in the black zone. My heart is in the dead zone.
That was TOM, The Organized Misuse, and an unplugged take on their song Dark Zone. Well, that was simplicity itself, playing to the strengths of the song, just really powerful and understated at the same time, just as bare bones as it gets. That's how you do it. If you're gonna play unplugged, if you're gonna play live, no trickery, just the band playing the song pure and from the heart. I loved the blend of the voices there, that little detail of the female vocal hanging in at the end of the chorus a little bit longer than the male voice, and then just that. you get that feeling of these guys really being locked in. They're clearly a band. They've been doing this. They know their thing, and they are just in the zone, in the dark zone. Yes, very enjoyable. Thank you for sending me that. That song is also available on Spotify, as the unplugged version, that is also available on Spotify, so go listen to it there as well. Great music from those crazy Spaniards. Well, no, not crazy. I love you guys. Thank you for sending me your music. That was TOM, The Organized Misuse. Next on the Jeff Vicario Show, we're gonna go a little bit crazy and a little bit hazy and all those things, because you know what time it is? It's time for some synthwave from none other than my favorite cat-themed synth lord from Boston, Mass. I always wanted to say Boston, Mass, because there's that old stupid Aerosmith song from Get a Grip where Steven Tyler sings from Boston, Mass to Bangladesh. Does that even rhyme? Flesh. That's a horrible song. I digress. This is Cat Temper, and I'm playing a song from his album Fearalized. It was a tough call between this song and Big Kitty Nights, but god damn it, I had to go with Ace of Spades. You'll have to love this artist. He's such a great guy. I mean, he even sent me a postcard. Seriously, I got a Christmas greeting card from him last year. That's the kind of guy the guy behind Cat Temper is. I love him, and this is Cat Temper from Fearalized. This song is called Ace of Spades.
Thank
Ace of Spades from Cat Temper, a solo project from Mike Langley out of Boston, Massachusetts, USA. Loved it. That is a like he describes himself, his project, synthwave with catitude. What's not to love about that? I am still somewhat annoyed that my mooted collaboration with Cat Temper and Still Life with Cat has still not materialized. I have my hopes. I had high hopes for you guys. Come on, Still Life with Cat Temper. That's perfect. Still hoping for that collaboration one day. Anyway, that was a great song from a great album. The song titles would suggest that this is some kind of a joke. I can assure you it's not. It is great. Great synthwave. Very original, highly original. With surprisingly dark undertones, which I really enjoyed. You know, there's a little bit of that edge there, and not just a little. And that dirty guitar sound, that's like the sonic equivalent of Bucky Cat's Litterbox. If you've ever watched read the Get Fuzzy comic strip on. I'm not sure if it still runs, but that's one of my favorite comic strips of all time. Anyway, that's a little plug for Darby Conley. Out of Boston, I think, as well. Well, yeah, this is a very sort of Massachusetts-centric broadcast. God damn it, that's a difficult song to pronounce. Anyway, Cat Temper from Fearalize, that's almost Ace of Spades. I loved it, and I loved the whole concept. I like everything from the song titles up to the production and the way it all goes together. And seriously speaking, who sends postcards in this day and age from the States to Finland to someone like me who is basically nobody? Thank you, Mike. You are the greatest. Look forward to hearing more music from you in the future. And by the way, that dirty guitar sound thing was actually a compliment. I loved it. Next up, we have an intriguingly named artist named The Cryptids Are All Right. Now, he approached me a couple of weeks ago saying, I think we were having a discussion about the relative and considerable merits of another artist whose music you're going to be hearing on a future episode. And this guy was like, well, you got to have production values and this and that and the other to be played on the radio. And I kind of jumped in on the conversation saying, well, not on this radio show, you don't. I don't care about production values, much as I respect them when they're in the right place. But to me, if the artist's personality and intention and overall vibe cuts through, I don't care if your music is recorded on a cell phone. Indeed, I know of artists who do all their recordings on a cell phone. Even I used to do that not so long ago. So don't worry about production values. If you got a song, if you want it to be played on the radio, on this show, just send it to me. I guarantee you that you have a very good chance of succeeding in having your music heard by a wider audience, counted certainly in the dozens worldwide. Anyway, I am also hoping very much that this our channel SLE Radio goes wide. Anyway, I digress. This artist is called, indeed, The Cryptids Are All Right. I got a submission of several songs from him, but this was by far my favorite. This is called Gummy Bear Deathmatch. Let's listen to it right now. This is The Cryptids Are All Right.
Pajamas and socks, suicide by a cop, no doctors, no English. I'm sorry it's not rehearsed. I wish I could say it was my first and my last time inside a gummy bear death match.
wanna go back to the gummy bear death match. I don't wanna go back. Scares the crap out of me. Look and see in the gummy bear death match. Look and see the gummy bear death match. Loud cackles and those madcap laughs, ghosts of friends and bloody hands, survivor's guilt, grief that builds. We're all locked up against our will. It's been decades, but I still fear going back inside a gummy bear's death match. A gummy bear death match. Yeah, I fear going back in a gummy bear death match.
What is a gummy bear death match? Wouldn't you like to know? I love that song. I love the vocal delivery. It's kind of deadpan, but it has you get a feeling that that's from real life, as indeed it is. I happen to know that because we had a brief but incredibly pleasant email exchange when we chatted about the music, about the Cryptids Are All Rights music being played on this show. I am very happy that he got in touch and I got to play that and share it with you all. I thought that was a brilliant piece of songwriting. These Cryptids, as he calls himself, calls that song as a bit of a homage to, or is it an homage? I'm never quite sure, but let's say it's a homage or an homage to Syd Barrett, Daniel Johnston, and others with mental health issues, etc., etc. And so it is rather fitting that I have no clue what's going on there lyrically, but I loved the lyrics. I laughed out loud. I swayed from side to side, enjoyed myself, watched as the birds ceased to fly midair. Well, they didn't drop down. They weren't there in the first place, but I am assuming somewhere around the world a bird just dropped from the sky. I think it's a safe assumption to make, considering the amount of birds. What am I talking about? Not the metal birds. I already played them. Well, I think this really insane and inane speech here is fitting in the sense that it is. I don't know. This is the Jeff Vicario Show. If you seriously want your music played on this show, you can send it to me at jeffvicarioshow@gmail.com. And if you don't want to listen to me talking about it, then either don't send it, or when you listen to the show, then just skip the speech parts. You're listening to sleradio.com. Next up on the Jeff Vicario Show, we have a band called The Last Years. They describe themselves as 80s-inspired synth-driven band from New England, inspired by artists such as AFI, The Smiths, Depeche Mode, and Prince, etc., etc. Well, that is an amazing list of artists to have taken inspiration from, and we're going to be listening to a song called TV Romantic next. And let's do that right now and then come back and have a bit of a talk about the song and the artist on sleradio.com. That was The Last Years with a song called TV Romantic. Okay, guys, which Molly Ringwald movie soundtrack was that from? Come on, seriously, that was so 80s, it was ridiculous, but I loved it. Great impassioned vocal performance, great sort of retro vibe on the drum sound there, great guitars. Yeah, you guys know what you're doing. I enjoyed that immensely. I will also give you a bonus point for not resolving that chord change on the verse. You know what I'm talking about. You know, you omitted the fourth chord that you could have dropped in there, but you didn't. That was great. It built some tension into the composition and it made the song infinitely better, in my opinion. I adored that song. It was such a nice sort of throwback. But, you know, it still... You can kind of tell that they have their influences and they wear them on their sleeve. But honestly, to me, they do have a sound of their own as well. And a lot of it comes from the singer who does an incredible job with a song. And in this, you know, this type of song, you have to deliver it with conviction. You know, you can't like wink at the audience and go, oh, I'm just kidding. You have to actually mean it, and that comes across in the singing. Very much enjoyed it. Thank you for sending me your music, and sorry for only playing it now. I know your music has been languishing in my inbox for a long time, but there it is. That was The Last Years with a song on TV Romantic on the Jeff Vicario Show. And by the way, if you want to, have me play your music, you can send it to me, jeffvicarioshow@gmail.com. Also, remember to submit music to the station, and that's a separate process. You have to go to sleradio.com. You can find very detailed instructions there as to how to go about sending the station your music. And be aware that if you submit music to the station, that does not mean you have submitted it to this show. For now, we have a separate process for that. So if you want to be played, you have to use email. I am sorry, but that's the way it is for now. Let's move on. Now, this next artist hails from Canada, and my buddy Joey from Limbocast was terrified at the prospect of me playing it because this group actually features him as a vocalist. Well, I told him not to worry because I hadn't actually listened to the song. I just picked one from their album at random. I haven't heard this myself, so I'm going to be listening to it, and you're going to be hearing first impressions from me for this song. And the band is called Revenge of the Fallen, and the song that we're going to be listening to is Burn, Burn.
And divided we fall, another link in the chain, one more brick in the wall. Unity's a hostage bound and gagged in the hall, and no one cares if they do. I'm unaware where they reside. The mercury's rising, swimming back against the top, but we are drowning under the superficial augmented reality of a dying society. There is only I, never been we. So many prophetic voices fall on ears, plucked with money from the top of the mountain. The rich can't hear the cross, the hungry, and the sun doesn't shine on the dark side of life. We barely survive, like ration crumbs. So what's a handful of change to a rich man's daughter? A son sold out like cattle to the slaughter, burned like cannon fodder. Every day, every day, having hope is getting harder and harder.
Burn, burn it to the ground, let it crumble. Strike a match, let it fall, strike another. We won't be the sheep led to the slaughter. Burn, burn away these scars. Burn, burn it to the ground, let it crumble. Strike a match, let it fall, strike another. We won't be the sheep led to the slaughter. Burn, burn away these scars.
Ditches to dig and ghostly witches to burn. I'll hold the light now. You have your turn. We still ain't figured it out, but I hope that one day we'll learn that nothing is free. Lost cause are the only thing that we've earned. We've come unnerved, unraveled, been drowned alive in the gravel. I'm keeping time with the gavel. Only heroes walk to the gallows, afraid of the light for crawling up out of these shadows. Tiptoe softly here, please. The ground now is hallowed. To yearness to light one match and strike another. Let it fall for your sister, oh brother. They be waiting at the base of the wall, sitting at the end of the world, watching this motherfucker burn. Sediments misunderstood, no end to the scourge that is man. It's for the greater good to be buried under sand. Nothing will save you, not even 2 tickets to paradise. Money fights abolish the middle class. We'll see you in hell, that day is coming fast.
Burn, burn it to the ground, let it crumble. Strike a match, let it fall, strike another. We won't be the sheep led to the slaughter. Burn, burn away these scars. Burn, burn it to the ground, let it crumble. Strike a match, let it fall, strike another. We won't be the sheep led to the slaughter. Burn, burn away these scars.
That was Revenge of the Fallen, a song called Burn, Burn from their 2018 album Vengeance. Underground hip hop there. I loved it. Great sort of intense vibe there. I love the dark beat, the keyboards. That's not easy listening hip hop. That's what I like when I listen to some dark stuff. I loved it. Well, obviously, I'm very, very familiar with Joey's vocal style, having, been in a band with him for some months now, and knowing what he can bring to the mix when he lends his pipes to a song. Well put together. Loved the chorus vocals. I unfortunately don't know who the singer is. Sorry, I should do my prep, but I didn't get around to it. Kudos. Very well put together. I love the vocal hook, and it's a perfect contrast to the low, mean flow of Joey's rapping there. That was a great song. Thank you for sending it to me, my friend. I'm always happy to play great music from my friends and even from strangers, many of whom I still consider friends. I mean, when you're in close quarters with an artist's music that they've sent you, you kind of get a feeling that you're getting to know the person or persons behind the music as well. This is such an absolute joy doing this show. I mean, I would do this even if they didn't pay me. And you know what? My Welsh overlords are not paying me. Well, I didn't expect that going in. Come on. Let's be real. I do this because I love music, and I love this. This is so good. I couldn't think of a better way to spend a Wednesday. Around noon in Tampere, Finland, looking outside and listening to some great music. Let's move on. This next artist is called John Warwick / Silk Swans. An intriguing name there. The song is called Down in the Basement. I don't think I'm going to be saying anything more about it for now. Let's just listen to the song and then come back to it. By the way, this is the second to last song on this show, so we're nearing the end. But fear not, the Jeff Vicario show will be back next week as well. Show number 7 airs on June 30th. So, keep sending me music, otherwise I'm not going to be able to do a show. Next up, John Warwick with Down in the Basement on sleradio.com.
I'm down in the basement in my imaginary world. I can't live in your one. Too much violence everywhere. Her Majesty is calling. Politicians wanna war. They come to you like salesmen, selling products at your door. I'm down in the basement in my imaginary world. I can't live in your one. Too much violence everywhere. What have we done to deserve this? Bring the poor and not the rich. Someday soon it'll all be gone. violence everywhere.
That was John Warwick, the Silk Swans. The song was called Down in the Basement. In my imaginary world, well, that's a nice place to be. I like going there myself. If only I had a basement. But there is always the basement of the mind, and you can go there and be free from all the violence and bad stuff that goes around in the world. Anyway, that was John Warwick. Thank you for sending me your music, mate. John is a London-based songwriter, an artist, and a stellar active member of the indie Twitter community. That's where I bumped into him. Always a joy to listen to his music, because he's such a great dude. I can say dude, I'm Finnish, you know? I can use any words I like, because who cares? I could even slip some Finnish in one of these days. Well, why not do it now? Tämä on Vicario Jeffi täältä Suomesta, kuulkaa vaan. Tämmöstä ohjelmaa täällä tehdään. Yeah, that was not a good idea. What a fun show this has been to do. Sometimes I have to put a little more effort into actually forming sentences. Sometimes, you know, good days, better days. I guess this was one of the better days because it felt like such a breeze, but it always helps when the music is so good and varied and awesome. As always, thanks to absolutely everybody who's sent me music for this show and for the previous ones and for future ones. Everybody will be considered. I doubt that I've yet to categorically dismiss a submission. I kind of like it all. Luckily enough, nobody sent me any Finnish reggae, which I hate, nor ska, which I loathe, but even if you did that, I would probably give it a shot, because that's the kind of guy I am, and that's the kind of station SLE Radio is. We do not discriminate, absolutely not. Not based on anything, even ska. Even ska music is welcome. Seriously, you can even send it to me, even though I hate it. We've come to the end of this end of the show. Oh, I forgot. Let's do it now. What was it called? The Jeff Vicario Twitter shout out. Yeah, I did this for the first time on the last show. Singled out a deserving member of the indie Twitter community, so I'm gonna do another one here, and I'm gonna nominate my good friend, creative reader. You are the greatest. Always there with an encouraging comment, like, and you're also an awesome friend and collaborator. I have no bad words to say about you, only great words. Thank you for being such a great person. I wish I can actually make the trip to Sweden one of these days and come meet you in person. That would be awesome. So yeah, check out Creative Reader, class act, and a talented writer in her own right, obviously. Okay, the last song of the show. And it comes from a band that doesn't quite exist. Or does it? Interesting. Are you intrigued? Probably not. But I am, even though I wrote it. This song comes from a band called Integrator. It is a band that I and my good friend Jordan Kelsnick, a.k.a. Yoni, hi Yoni, formed back in 2002 because we wanted to make a movie about a band that doesn't exist. Well, that's what happened. And 18 years later, we're here. I'm still making music as Integrator. This is one of the more recent songs that I wrote for it back in last December. I did some tweaking to it. Let me just pause this because there's something wrong with the backing track. That's better. Anyway, Integrator. This song is called Night Closes In. I wrote it. I perform everything on it. Yes, why not? It's my show. I can do it. So if you don't want to listen to some Finnish hard rock song by me, tune out now and come back next week for the Jeff Vicario show. Thank you for listening. Jeff Vicario out. This is Integrator. Night Closes In.